On this high frontier of our globe dwell nearly 20 million people. People of 100 diverse languages and cultures, separated by steep canyon walls, living on the roof. People on a sacred pilgrimage to a snowbound sanctuary, or in search of trade in another corridor of the mountain land. And India, in the pursuit of their lives. People with flocks, who at the dawn of history fled to the hills to escape the torpid plains of India. From and south, the people move. Tibetan civilization filters down to meet Indian civilization moving up. The high mountain trail becomes a wedding place, thus bringing some unity to a land of many barriers. The Himalayas are part of a great link in a chain of young mountains extending from the Alps to the islands of Indonesia. Together with the plateau of Tibet, the Himalayan uplift is 1/3 the size of the United States. In mass and height, the Himalayas and their sister ranges dwarf all other mountains. The Andes are lower by almost 1.5 miles. The Alps by 3 miles. The Rockies and the Sierra Nevadas are mere foothills in comparison. 240 million years ago, the Deccan Plateau of India was an island. When the Himalayas projected their crests above the Tetian Sea, the Deccan Plateau stood in the way. The earth crumbled, and the southern face of the Himalayas became precipitous. The Himalayas now stood as a barrier, keeping the thunderous winds of Mongolia from India, and blocking the monsoon clouds of the ocean from Tibet. During the months of May through September, these clouds hit the cold Himalayan walls, condensing and pouring their torrential waters on the southern slopes. Monsoon rains, melting snow and glaciers, washing down soil with which to build the great valleys of Asia. Down the Indus, the Jumna, the Ganges, and the Brahmaputra. Each stream the embryo of a mighty river, the guardian of a Himalayan canyon. The Wang and the Yangtze to China, the Megang and the Irrawaddy to Thailand and Burma. A network of rivers from the roof of the world, nourishing over half the population of our globe. The unending flow of rivers bringing life and society and greatness to the subcontinent of India. For without the waters of the Himalayas, famed historic cultures of India could not have prospered, and India would have been a barren waste, void of habitation. The Himalayas have 3 major lateral zones along their 1,500-mile frontage. The highest region of perpetual snow, the middle zone of habitation, and the lowest region of jungle and swamp known as the Terai. Rainfall at the eastern foot of the Himalayas is the world's highest at 450 inches per year. It's a region of wildlife. Here are most of the tropical forests of India. The highest zone of the Himalayas is the domain of the legendary abominable snowman. This land of glaciers has a perpetual snow line upward of 14,000 feet. In this lofty protrusion are located the world's 85 highest peaks, all over 24,000 feet. Within proximity of Mount Everest and Annapurna are the Nepal Peak and Mount Kangchenjunga. These peaks stand guard over the lives of the people, within canyon walls sheltering thousands of isolated communities. The economy of this middle zone is based on grazing up to 14,000 feet and on agriculture between 4 and 11,000 feet. Rice and tea are grown in the lower eastern regions. On the higher and western slopes, wheat and barley are in predominance. In this zone of the Himalayas, the population density is the same as that of the United States. The rhythm of farm life in these communities makes for similarities in isolated canyons. Parallel customs are found from Kashmir to Sikkim, separated by over 1,500 miles. All the canyons share in a common Indian culture, which has penetrated upward to 10,000 feet, and Tibetan culture, which has spilled over on the southern face of the Himalayas to 7,000 feet. As an example, husking grain is the same in the Ganges Canyon, in Sikkim, in Kashmir. Tibetanization of the Indian side of the Himalayas is a continuous process. Yak butter tea is prepared in the same manner in Sikkim, in the Ganges Canyon. There is a common denominator in the daily life of the people dwelling on the roof of the world, spinning wool in the Ganges Canyon. And in Nepal. Weaving in Sikkim, along the Ganges, and in Kashmir. Sawing in Kashmir to make wood carvings, and sawing in the Ganges Canyon to make slates, so that mountain children may learn to write and learn to govern tomorrow as their fathers do now. The village council fines a farmer for not keeping his front yard clean. Next case, kidnap or elopement. Punishment, 2 fat goats for not asking father's consent. On the world's highest plateau stands the hidden land of Tibet, twice the size of Texas. Tibetan influence has been dominant over Sikkim and Bhutan, substantial over Nepal, and sparing over Kashmir, which is farthest removed from the center of Tibet. Tibet is an arid land, blocked off by the mountain wall from most of the monsoon clouds. The Brahmaputra Valley is the chief area of agriculture. Here are grown peas, barley, and wheat. The main exports are salt, yak tails, wool, borax. In this sparsely populated land, the major cities and the capital, Lhasa, are located in the eastern Brahmaputra Valley. Mystic symbols of Tibetan Buddhism are strewn across the barren landscape. Prayer flags, chortens concealing the ashes of monks, Om stones at the entrance of a village with a prayer. From a land of mystery, trade caravans carry religion, race, language, and customs to form a distinct civilization on both sides of the mountain chain. Caravan routes from the Tibetan Plateau and from the Indo-Gangetic Plain meet at the watershed of the Himalayas. Mountain passes unite the people on either side and become doorways for the interchange of ideas and commerce. Islamic Kashmir, Hindu Ganges Canyon, and Buddhist Sikkim are three examples of distinct Himalayan cultures. A narrow-gauge rail from Calcutta winds its way towards Sikkim, a land of Buddhist religion and Tibetan society. Mount Kangchenjunga, third highest peak in the world, dominates over the tea plantations and resorts of Darjeeling and the wool markets of Kalimpong. Wool from the highlands of Tibet being unloaded at the main caravan center between India and Tibet. Variety stores with trinkets from India for the women folk of Tibet. And for the mountain trader, fruits from the tropical zone of the Terai. Politically, Sikkim is controlled by India as a buffer against Tibet and China. Religiously, Sikkim is tied to Tibetan Buddhism or Lamaism. During the celebration of the Tibetan New Year, prayer wheels are overworked. And the gods are beseeched to prevent the malignant spirits from entering the new year. The Mongolian-featured Lepcha, inhabitants of Sikkim, reenact the drama of the forces of good, attempting to expel those who conspire for evil. The Devil's Dance, as novice monks watch attentively until a pretty face distracts them. Finally, good dominates over evil, ushering in a new year of peace and prosperity for the people living on the apron of sacred Mount Kangchenjunga. To enter a new canyon, it is necessary to descend to the plains, to Benares, sacred city of the Hindus, and then upward again into the Ganges Canyon, 800 miles west of Sikkim. For over 5,000 years, devout Hindus have sought to reach the source of the life-giving Ganges by making a pilgrimage in an effort to elevate their souls in the next life. Pilgrims too old to walk, the naked, able to travel in the highest snows, the lonely, measuring as an atonement the entire course of the Ganges with the length of their body. Pilgrims seeking the unknown, and after a walk of 2 months, finding the source of the holy Ganges at 14,000 feet, a crevice in a melting glacier. Where heaven meets the source, men have erected a shrine. And in humble abodes also, they meditate in the silence of the universe. Holy men believing that their pilgrim trail is but one of many paths leading to truth and to God. Mahatmas atop the watershed of the world, attempting to carve an empire of faith and peace for the peoples of the earth. A final descent to the plains, for there are no roads between the canyons, through Rajputana westward to the Vale of Kashmir, 700 miles away. Local legends claim that Christ spent his youth in this paradise, carved from nature with infinite care and craftsmanship. Kashmir is a vacation land of houseboats and gardens. A land noted for its crafts, carved articles from walnut, articles of cashmere wool, made by Muslims in Middle Eastern tradition. Located in the western Himalayas, Kashmir has been subject to the influences of Persia in matters of race, religion, customs, and art. Some choose to spend a lifetime weaving one rug. These are the diverse people dwelling within the world's most important mountain range. Nurtured by powerful civilizations from without. Separated by formidable canyon barriers from within. A girl of Kashmir with a basket full of coals for warmth. People separated by a canyon from Jat traders along the Ganges. Further to the east, more canyons. Lepchas, Sherpas, Gurkhas in Sikkim. A mother and child in Assam. A mountain land full of people with a high degree of the gift for happiness.